Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for another new in the queue product feature. My name is Elizabeth Miller and I'm the CEO at Quaint Business Solutions. Quaint is an SAP Business One provider who values excellency in customer service as well as knowledge of our SAP B1 application. Part of what we do at Quaint is to ensure we are always bringing the latest and greatest innovations in the SAP B1 space to our existing customers and also potential new customers. So that is what brings us to our presentation today. So today we are featuring Alluvia's EDI integration product. EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange, and it's the concept of electronically communicating information that, traditionally we would have communicated via paper, such as purchase orders, shipment notices, invoices, and things like that. Our presentation today is going to be with Alluvia's very own Gary Lacombe. So thank you, Gary, for joining us today and showing us this great solution. Just a reminder, we will have question and answer time at the end. So if you have any questions, just jot those down and we'll be happy to answer those following Gary's presentation. Gary, if you're ready, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And hello, everyone. My name is Gary Lacombe, and I am Director of Strategic Alliances here at Alluvia. And I will be taking you through the presentation today. What we'll be covering is an overview of Alluvia as a company, who we are, EDI, focusing on EDI and our expertise in that area with an EDI overview, and then taking you through the Alluvia platform so you can see how we do these integrations. And then, as Elizabeth stated, we'll have a question and answer session. So jumping right in, today's ERP implementations can be complicated or complex, with many solutions needing to speak to one another. So when you're integrating your ERP, many times it's of mission critical to have these other applications integrated, including EDI. And with that, you have many different integration partners potentially helping to integrate these solutions back into SAP. But with Alluvia, what we do is we create a unified integration platform that allows all of these systems to communicate back to SAP through a single platform. Okay, we are the only integration provider focused on SAP with thousands of integrations worldwide. We also focus on all platforms in the SAP portfolio, including SAP Business One, Business by Design, S/4HANA On-Premise, and S/4HANA Cloud. We are all cloud-based solution also, which provides rapid deployment and quick time to value with our drag and drop mapping and our pre-built connections, especially when it comes to EDI. That's very important, but that holds true across all our portfolio of integrations. Integration is in our DNA. We started as a SAP reseller and realized that integration was so important that we actually focused solely on the integration platform. So we understand SAP very well. And now our sole focus is on integration for SAP. So we bring all of that expertise and knowledge with us when we go and address the integration issues that are unique to SAP. We're subject matter experts. We integrate into all, as I said, all platforms. And when you get into the bigger SAPs, it gets quite complex with their different platforms. But we're focusing more on SAP Business One and potentially by design for today. We have a quick EDI document implementations compared to our competitors, and each of our accounts gets assigned an account manager. So you have a point of contact through Quaint, of course, but if it needs to be escalated to Alluvia for an EDI specific question or address an issue that you're having, you have your own account manager that you can contact directly. And we handle EDI accounts of all sizes, including enterprise accounts. So from the very small, a few trading partners with a few documents per month, to very large customers, as you can see here, processing over 2 million documents a month. So that is, quite a broad range, but our platform scales to any size, so there is no upper limit. And as I mentioned, but we have customers of all shapes, all sizes. So Alluvia provides integrations, over 50 integration plus integrations and custom integrations as well. And our focus areas when we speak about integrations are in the following areas. EDI is our primary focus, e-commerce, marketplace channels, CRM, logistics, procurement and spend management, and custom solutions as well. And some of those areas of expertise are listed here from the e-commerce and marketplace. Obviously, EDI, and procurement, spend management, CRM, and logistics as well. So when you're implementing EDI, many times the source of the sales are coming from different areas as well, or the purchasing, and that needs to be managed as well through integration. So what we're here to focus on is EDI. And Alluvia is a full-service EDI provider. So we do the communications from the trading partner. We serve as the van, and we provide integration back into SAP. And what that means to you is usually you have a bunch of trading partners that you're trying to sell to. So they're sending you an 850 document. That document goes into the Alluvia platform where we decode it through our mappings. We decode it, and then we prepare it for integration, and then we send it over to SAP, where it is processed as a purchase order within SAP. And then the process is complete. We'll send back the other documents corresponding, the 56, 810s, whatever the case may be. And the question is, so how is all of this done? So when we speak about Alluvia and the EDI, what we do is we have a listing of all our documents that we're processing by customer. So you as a customer would have a dashboard, and in that dashboard, you'd be able to see all of your trading partners and all of the documents that you have. In this case, we're looking at a Home Depot. Okay, and you have from the EDI, and then you have the mappings back into SAP. Okay, and they're all listed here in your dashboard. But when we go to create these templates, and this is where the magic takes place, each template is predefined if it's a known trading partner, or if it's not, we'll create the mapping as needed. But every mapping, even if it exists, usually we have to change something based on the customer's implementation. So we'll take the template and we'll make small adjustments to that template, and then use it for your particular needs or requirements. So here on the left, you see the Alluvia fields, and on the right, the external system, whatever we are speaking to. In this case, it's an EDI mapping to one of our trading partners. And in the middle is the map. So if every time we drag a field from the left, we'll drag a field from the right, as they sit next to each other, that means they're integrated. So this and this is passing data, so on and so forth down the line. Okay, but before we get into the actual mapping of it, we have to go ahead then connect it to the trading partner. So this is where we do all of the setups and the connections, where it's coming from, how it's getting there, all of that information, and we're configuring it all here. Here we're setting up the connection information. As mentioned, this is all done once during the setup process, but it's all critical to making sure that the connections are made so we can pass data back and forth. And then here's an example of the mapping. But in this scenario, you'll see some of the maps have been grayed out. And that indicates there's a formula behind that field. So sometimes you'll pull information from a trading partner, and that information needs to be changed, usually a formatting, or two fields need to be combined, or something needs to be done with that data before we send it to SAP. An example could be ship to address may come in one format from the trading partner, but we need to break it up into a different format before we bring it into SAP. So we can do that through formulas. And if we drill into one of the fields, you can see the formula behind the scenes, and you can select what type of formula you want to use, an Excel formula, a SQL formula, whatever the case is, and that formula is then applied to that particular field. Okay, so that's as it pertains to EDI and the way that our mappings are created, the way the data is transformed back and forth, and the differentiator between Alluvia and other EDI providers in that we are the full end-to-end solution, providing from the trading partner, mapping, van, and integrator, where most EDI solutions stop at the van. So they don't do the integration into your ERP. And that's really the differentiator of the Alluvia platform. So when we dig into the platform further, if you have additional integrations into the platform, say in this case, we're just highlighting a Shopify. So you'll have your EDI mapping, and then potentially you'll have another system mapped in as well. And a similar process takes place where we go in and we put in the details around the template, and then we'll create the map. Again, the map will come in automatically as a template, and then we'll be able to create formulas against that field, as I discussed earlier. And then at the end, and the same with the EDI, we put in the order of processes. So go process these transactions first, run this template, then run this template, and so on and so forth. So you could have 4 items here, you could have 50 items here, depending on how many templates are getting processed during this scenario. And here's kind of the differentiator of our platform. So every transaction that's flowing through the Alluvia platform is listed in a portal, and the customer will log in to their portal and have visibility into all the data that's flowing in and out and through, more precisely, the Alluvia platform. So you'll see all of these transactions listed here, okay, with the success next to them. And as the day goes on, you'll just see them coming in, but there's no real value to looking at the transactions as successful transactions. What you really want to focus on is anything that's of issue, failed transactions. So with that, you can click on the failed transactions, and you're presented with a listing of those failed transactions. And they could have failed for various reasons, being, say, a conversion rate, a US dollar to euro. It's the first day of the month. Someone forgot to put that in to the system. You would get an error, just like you would in SAP. So if that was the case, the transaction or the sales order wouldn't be able to post. Someone would have to go in and put in that spot rate, so all orders could post in SAP. So that may be one example why it's failed. So you'd go in and you can see all of the failed transactions, and you can click on these failed transactions and actually see why the document failed through the history. And then once you understand why it's failed, you can go ahead usually and just go into the whichever system is causing the problem, fix the problem right there, and then go ahead and tell the system to repost that transaction. Okay, but how will I know if I should go into the portal to look at these failed transactions? Well, that's a good question. So what happens is our system is watching the logs, and every time there's a failed transaction, it sends out a notification to whoever you would like on your team, as well as our support desk. And our support desk will look at the issue. The issue 90% of the time is a data issue on the customer's side, so only the customer can fix it. The customer will get the notification. Customer will log into the portal, see what the issue is. If they can fix it, they'll fix it. If not, then they can contact our support desk and say, hey, I need your assistance. Or if it happens to be an issue with our system, of course, our support desk doesn't wait for you to notify us. Once we get notification that there's an issue, we'll jump on it and fix it immediately. And a differentiator between us and our competition is that the Alluvia platform as a whole, and especially as it pertains to EDI, is very responsive on the support side. So our support desk is running 24/7, and it is running very efficiently, where we're getting people responding to people's calls usually within 7 minutes, and resolving these tickets extremely quickly. So as you can see here, almost 50% of them are fixed within 5 hours to 0. I mean, some of them are just minutes if they're just simple issues, and so on and so forth. So not only are we fixing and addressing the issues immediately, where other places you may be dealing with much, much longer times for service. We're getting back to you. We're here. And the people you speak to on the phone can fix the issue. They're not just taking tickets and processing the tickets and handing it down the team. They can generally address the issue right there. So with that, that is the overview of the Alluvia EDI presentation. Are there any questions?
Gary, I had a question. The mapping that's done, is that done in the portal, or does that need to be done like in the back end of a server, for example?
Yeah, all of that takes place in our portal. So we work with the trading partners. During the kickoff process, the customer will put us in contact with their trading partners, and we take it from there. Next time the customer hears from us is when we say we're ready to test. So we're doing all of that mapping in our portal, working with the trading partner directly to validate the maps and make sure that we have it correct. And then once it's correct, we have to test the transactions that they're flowing into the ERP system, SAP, as expected. So that's the next time we engage the customer.
Thank you. And does the push and pull of data between the trading partner and SAP, for example, does that work on some sort of scheduler, or does that work automatically?
It works automatically on a schedule. So there's no intervention required unless there's an issue with the transaction, as I pointed out earlier. So you can set that for as little as 5 minutes to any period, once a day, twice a day, once a week, depending on how often you want it to run. So that we're very flexible. There's just a setting within the portal which says run the templates every X, and you put in the time value. Anyone else?
Hi, Gary. Just two questions. One, does the integration work if you're dealing with a bank? And then two, would it be able to work if you're dealing with user-defined objects in SAP? Say I wanted to update a document, but not from the standard SAP documents. Yeah. Okay,
so yes, we do handle user-defined fields. So in that template mapping screen, you have when we look at the SAP fields, if you have user-defined fields, they just show up there, and we can just drag them over into the middle section to map them into their template. So the short answer is yes, we can handle UDFs and UDTs as well. We can also communicate with banks. It's not generally through EDI, it's usually through a file drop. But yes, we can communicate with banks.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Gary, is there any kind of licensing required on the SAP side for your integration?
There is no, we need access to the system to make the connection, but there really is no licensing requirements. That would be something you would discuss with your partner, you, Elizabeth, but technically speaking, you don't need a user license.
Hey, Gary, I'll ask a question then.
Sure.
Typically, in terms of a timeline for an EDI implementation, what are you looking at to affect an integration to a trading partner?
So our timeline for EDI is quite exceptional, where we can implement trading partners over weeks and months, opposed to months and years for other, depending on the quantity of trading partners, of course. But we've done about 10 trading partners in a month. Is if it's a larger project, that's what we're some of them have 70 trading partners, 80 trading partners. Some of them have 3. So there's all different types, but it can be anywhere from 8 weeks from start to end to, if you're talking about 70 trading partners, it could be 6 months, 9 months, or something like that. But compared to other EDI providers, that's very quick. We haven't come across anyone who delivers EDI faster than we are capable of doing. Anything else? Anyone?
Well, it sounds like you covered everything very thoroughly, Gary. Thank you.
All right, great.
And thank you, everybody, for attending today. We appreciate you being here. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn. And if you're a current customer, check our email announcements for our next product features in the future and other great things that are going on at Quaint. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Gary.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.